Next up is Allie, who is our Associate Counsel, to talk to you about legal issues, fundraising, and intellectual property issues. Allie?
Hi, everybody. So I am here to talk to you about how to use Burning Man's intellectual property when you're doing your fundraising. I am Allie Duraps, and I'm in the legal department. I work with our general counsel, Ray Allen, who some of you might know. One of the things that I do in my job is manage the intellectual property team. So if you've ever emailed IP at, that's one of the emails that I would get. So what we're talking about when we're talking about IP, just so we're all on the same page, are trademarks and copyrights. And Burning Man has a few of each. Burning Man and Black Rock City and Decompression and the man symbol are trademarks, and the design of the man sculpture and the design of the Black Rock City map are copyrights. And we protect those at Burning Man so that they can be used by the community and they don't get commodified and used commercially. And we rely on the community in large part, as I'm going to talk about later, to report things like that and just kind of educate people in the community, in your camp, whatever, about what's okay. So a lot of this stuff is going to sound obvious. I wasn't here last year, and I think someone presented it for us, and it's all things you've probably heard before. But at the same time, we do hear issues occasionally from camps, and it's always like the well-intentioned people, like Rebecca was saying. Sometimes you well-intentioned break the ticket rules, sometimes you well-intentioned break the IP rules. So we're just hoping that the things that we say today are going to help you figure out how to do your fundraising. So, okay, so this is the basics. Like everybody kind of knows, you can use our IP in your logos, and you can use it in connection with your art projects, and you can even fundraise using it in terms of like swag in your Kickstarters or your Indiegogo perks. But the only thing that we ask is that it's truly a gift that you're giving to your supporters, and that it's directly related to Burning Man. It's something that you're actually bringing out to Black Rock City. Selling these things isn't okay. So this is just some examples of things that you might see out there. You can have like a sticker or like a pin or something, and this might be stuff that you give out in a fundraiser, and it might be stuff that you have at your camp. But if you have leftovers, or if you have some business that you have on the side, it's not okay to sell these things. And you can't really read the fine print maybe, but this is all fake. This is something that we put together. These are things that we found online. It's just kind of like a parody of what a Burning Man swag store might look like. We do see things out there though. They're like cafe press stores and things like that. And whenever we contact these people, they take it down and they're really sorry, but sometimes it happens. So we just want people to be as creative as they can when they're coming up with ways to use the man symbol. This is an example of our legal assistant at a camp. This is something related to World of Warcraft. I can't say that I actually know, but they kind of took, that was the theme of their camp, and they kind of took the symbol and they modified it to be their thing. So, radical self-expression, do your thing. And when you're coming up with perks, this is kind of a side issue that we hear about sometimes, is sort of the type of perk, that it's not really a radically inclusive perk because it's some kind of a private party or a private tour or something at the event that is, VIP or restricted. And not only, is that not gonna resonate well with people, but it might actually hurt your fundraising overall. And the other thing I want to say here is with respect to tickets. So tickets are clearly like a commodity, and they're precious to people. So when you get a ticket, we ask that you not use it for fundraising, that it actually go to a person in your camp and in your group that is doing the project. So this one here is about a couple of things that we've seen in recent years. It's essentially about commodifying the space in your camp. You might need to have new members in your camp, and there's ways that you can do that, and there's ways that you really shouldn't. It kind of comes down to what commerce actually is. An Airbnb is a commercial site, and BLM, as you know, through the OSS program, any kind of commerce, they regulate and they require you to have a permit, and they require you to pay them 3% of what you make off of that commercial activity. So putting something up on Airbnb is essentially commercial, and BLM might notice it, they might not, but it's really not like a group of friends that are getting together to like share their resources and share the expenses of the camp. It's actually commerce. And this one up here was a real life thing. It wasn't like associated with a theme camp, but somebody just had this art car and they wanted to rent it, and they didn't really understand why that was a decommodification issue, but eventually they did take it down. The one on the bottom was actually a joke. We contacted them, someone reported it, and they were like, oh, we were just kind of like messing with our friend who were trying to get to come out to the events, and we made this fake listing, but people get confused, so we asked them to take it down. Okay, so these last couple things aren't really like theme camp related, but they're kind of like acculturation issues that you may come across in your camp, or just like people, who you might see on the playa, and there are things that are going on with images that we just figured it was worth mentioning so people are aware of what's happening. And essentially it's fashion shoots that we see a lot of, where people are wearing outfits on the playa, and then they're posting images of people wearing the outfits and linking it to their store. So that's not okay. And the other thing that's related is kind of product placement. This is kind of a fashion shoot / product placement. This is Susan Sarandon, and I don't really mean to call her out, but she did wear these boots and then like post about it on Instagram with a link to the website. So then the website was like, this is great, and they put it up on their site. And all of you probably don't have the same pull on Instagram as Susan Sarandon does, so it's not really a problem, but it's just kind of product placement generally. Somebody says here like, this isn't the red carpet, we're not. It's Burning Man. And so that's really it. Like ip@burningman.org if you have questions. We have like some info on the website. Are there any questions? Yeah.
Just those last two. Hi, I'm Boy Scout from Aquazone. Those last two slides, I didn't see the man in there.
No, this is about the image use. So that's sort of a separate thing from the intellectual property. It's in the terms and conditions that everybody agrees to by coming into the event. And it's essentially to protect the event from being commodified. So using the images, it would amount to kind of like a breach of contract. You promised you wouldn't do this, and now you're doing it. So
I wanted to get stamps, Little Jack still from Hushville. I wanted to get stamps made with the Burning Man logo to give out at the post office, and either stamps.com or Zazzle, I forgot what I was going through, wouldn't do it because it was protected. If I email IP at, will you release permission for
Absolutely.
that? It's entirely for gifting. I don't want to do the stamps. Right.
Zazzle, if it was Zazzle, we've actually seen that before, where we appreciate that they're looking out for us, and all we'll do is kind of respond to your email and say you can let them know, that we give permission for gifting, and we ask them not to use it, kind of on their page as like an example of a cool thing that you can make. So,
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Doug from Spanky's Wine Bar. Just a curiosity question. The Quiznos ad is still up. Did you decide it was okay, or did they get away with it as parody?
Quiznos. So what happened here, honestly, it ended up, this is a fair use, what's a parody and what isn't. We thought that they crossed the line in certain respects with the advertising. The coupon was something that we took issue with, the use of other people's artwork, the actual sandwich in the ad. We had some back and forth with them, and by that point, they dragged it out so it had gotten 1 million something views. The damage was done, so to speak, and we're hoping that it was a learning experience for us in terms of response. They hit us right after the event, so we're ready. We have a plan of attack for next time.
Hi, Punch from the future. As someone who's interested in doing photography at Burning Man, once you've taken photos, you come off playa, you make them, etc. What are the limits to what you can do with them? I'm not planning on taking them and selling them specifically, look at my Burning Man photos and buy them, but I know that people have made photo books. I know that there are sometimes art exhibitions when it comes to photos. I'm curious if that is its own weird, interesting thing, or if it is a very clear definition about what you're supposed to do with that.
So it kind of is, it is its own thing, and I think it's relatively clear. It's really handled by communication. So that would be a press@burningman.org question in terms of like, if you know in advance that you're gonna go out there and take pictures and you're a professional photographer, you might wanna use them. They have a whole kind of media contract policy that starts a few months before the event. There's applications and then you register on Playa. And then you you can use your imagery in ways after the event also by working with them. So certain books and films and different, art exhibitions, the communications team helps with that. But just selling your like going out and just taking the pictures and selling them on like an art website is not okay.
Okay. Thanks, Sally.
All right, thank you.